to real and raw, no time to fake, you gotta give it all. From battles in the ring to chases on the street, Mike and Trevor making life complete. Punching bags and bounty tags, they swap tails. From the ring to the streets, they never fail. Lessons learned every step they take in this crazy life.
What's up, guys? I'm Trevor O'Connor, and across from me, as always, Mike Gonzales.
What's up?
This is After the Final Bell, episode
12.
12. We're a cool dozen now. We're like pros. We got this.
Got it. Figured it out.
We do have an in-studio guest today, a friend of both of ours, Mr. Josh Huber,
Hi.
who probably has one of the longer fight careers in Colorado.
I think so. I think I might have more pro fights outside of boxing than anybody in Colorado.
Yeah.
How many fights total?
You're almost 40 fights.
I
right?
have
Including
59
all the fights.
Total fights. Total fights. 50.
That includes my amateurs, and then I have 45 pro fights, and some of those are kickboxing and Muay Thai and bare knuckle,
That's a lot.
but mostly MMA.
I don't even have 45 sparring rounds.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's just be real.
I just really love fighting. I was a lifer from the start.
Yeah. You've had basically 3 fight careers,
Yeah, for sure.
like full careers, and then we're like, maybe I'm gonna back off.
Yeah,
And you never can figure that part out.
well, I always said they were going to have to drag me away.
Yeah.
And then I went on like a really big winning streak, and I was knocking on the door again at like 34 or 35, which is hard to do, and I had 10 losses. So yeah, I fought Jair Menegit, it was this Russian guy in LFA. I forget his name now. It'll come back to me, but I lost to him in LFA by unanimous decision. He went on to fight to the UFC. And then I went on to blow out my knee like a month later, and then I was just like, well, that's a sign I should just retire.
Well, that fight, a lot of us actually remember that fight, and that was like winner is going to get the nod.
Yeah, I've been in that fight multiple times in my career.
Probably at least 3 times that I know of that you were one fight.
Yeah.
If you win this fight.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, and I just never won that fight, It is
so
what
close,
it is.
so many times. Like you were.
I won't make excuses.
No, I mean, life is exactly what it is, and there's no denying, facts or truth. It's windy today. Just so you guys know. Geesh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know,
No.
except for the sound.
Yeah, I could hear it.
It seems so weird because like Mike still obviously works in the fight world. You still train fighters and coach and do all that. And we see so many fighters now who are constantly on that. One more win and you're probably going to get the nod. Yeah. In Colorado, the floodgates have somewhat opened up.
Oh, for sure.
If you go on a hot streak in Colorado now, you're more than likely either going to get a contender series fight or you're going to get a late call up, last minute fight.
It's not like it was.
No. Before, like throughout your entire career, I was never anywhere close, so it never mattered to me. But throughout your career, it was during that time where, man, you had to make lightning in a bottle. You had to find the perfect mixture, and somebody that was close to the organization had to like you enough to put you in front of somebody else. Now they're like, all right, let's just go see who's fighting in Colorado.
Well, their roster is so damn huge. They got to fill out so many fight cards that are mediocre at best.
Well, and they also cut a lot. They cut a lot of fighters quick now, a lot quicker than they used to, because they're always feeding through Contender Series or through LFA. LFA is like a.
I think the UFC tries to scoop up prospects while they're super young before they can make it big anywhere else. So they'll just give anyone a shot, and if they turn out to be good, then they hang on to them. If they don't, they just send them packing.
Right. And I mean, that's not completely bad for these young fighters either.
No.
Because if they do get the shot, they go to the UFC, probably make more money than they made on any local circuit, even at the low end of UFC pay. But then if they get kicked, every other regional promotion then wants to put them on a card and bring the, they'll make more money than they had made before.
Well, the road back's a lot easier than it was before. When you got cut from the UFC back in the day, you had to do something crazy to get
yeah,
back.
it
Now
almost
it's
didn't
like
happen.
you can win 2 fights in a row and they'll sign you. You can win
Yeah.
1 fight and they'll sign you.
Yusuf got cut and got brought back not very long after.
Well, he deserved it. Yusuf was like one of my main training partners for a couple of years, and that guy is incredibly talented. I mean, he went the distance with Topuria. Like he's insanely good. I can't believe he got cut in the first place.
I think getting cut was the best thing that could happen to him.
Yeah.
That was
It was reality check. It was.
He's
isn't-
came back way better.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not just a striker.
No,
You know
no,
what I mean?
he could grapple. He could grapple 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I outranked Yusuf for like I always outranked him. I don't know if he's a black belt now, but he
I
used
don't
to
think
give
so. I
it
think
to
he's
me.
a purple or brown.
Like as a blue belt, he was giving it to me. As a purple
Fast.
belt, he's tough on the ground. I mean, he's athletic, he's strong, and he's smart, and he really listens well. He's probably the most coachable guy I've ever seen.
Fast hips. Yusuf probably got the call later than he expected the first time.
Yeah.
And then when he got there, I mean, he took tough fights.
He fought Chepe outside of the UFC, like right before, he like lost that fight. Then he won like 2 or 3 in a row or something like that. Then he got signed. But I mean, he was fighting UFC level guys like back in the day. I mean, I've always just been a big fan of Yusuf.
Yeah, I've always, win or lose, I've always really, really enjoyed A, watching him fight, and B, seeing how he carries himself. You know, he doesn't do the woe is me.
I always respected because he's the same with everybody. You know, like he doesn't just beat the hell out of the new guys and then like go lighter with the
Right. No,
the
you're
better
getting
guys.
all of him all the time.
He challenges everybody. He goes right after like big name guys. I was always like, damn, because he'd go right after like Brian Foster or like these big name guys that had already established himself, and he's fighting to win. You know, like I always was really impressed with his confidence and his dedication.
And he's built for it.
Oh yeah.
He's got that long appendages, fast. Yeah. We're almost exactly the same.
Same way, yeah.
Almost.
Almost. You're almost there.
I'm so close. But we end up on fighting a lot. And we try not to stay here very long. Because there's a million fight podcasts. Everybody's got, every fighter has one. Every fight team has one. Every armchair quarterback MMA watcher has one.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
There's so many of them. You were going somewhere real quick.
What?
Oh, you kept looking at me with that. I'm gonna say
I
something.
lost my. I was, but I lost
I
my.
stole it.
I lost my thought.
It'll come back to you.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
So what we look at here on After the Final Bell is situations in life where we are done with that adrenaline fueled career. It's run its course. You know, we've beaten that horse to death as many times as we can, but now we all still live in a world where we're still that person mentally.
Oh yeah.
You know, physically maybe we're not quite the same, but mentally I still think I can get in and compete with anybody. I know I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people understand the confidence that pro fighters have. You know,
It's a
like they call
different
us
world.
arrogant and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not so much arrogant as I am like tested, and I know exactly what I'm capable of.
That's the thing that people who have never fought or don't understand completely will never get, is just because we get older doesn't mean that we don't still have it in us.
Yeah.
We just know that it's not, there's no more time for that.
I mean, I wish I could have fought forever. I still think about fighting all the time.
Well, the universe had a different goal for you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
That's how I try to believe in life. You know, even when weird stuff happens and you're like, but I was
Because most
good.
times
Like,
it's
I
not
was
what
moving.
it's not what you want.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like
No.
you know, it's not what you want.
No,
It's-
not at all.
It's just what you get.
So for our fans of the show who do not know, because most of them are not from Colorado or in the area, Josh fought, like I said, like 3 different careers. The last portion of that being getting a call from Bare Knuckle FC and taking a tough fight, actually, Interestingly,
No, you know,
he said, "Nah." It was,
No, he said no.
I've been trying to fight Yates for over a decade.
Yeah.
I've been like,
Oh, really?
looking to fight Yates. He would never fight me.
He's been one of the, kind of the golden boys.
Yeah.
In Bare Knuckle.
I literally just talked to Seth Daniels about this. Like, he tried to set up that fight multiple times and he would never take it. Jeff Cisneros tried to set it up and he wouldn't take it. And then he went 2-0 in BKFC. And I'm like, okay, he's got some clout. He must have some confidence. You know, maybe he'll go for it. I was asking the promoter. I was sending him a message on Facebook like, "Let me fight Yates."
So how did your relationship with BKFC? I mean,
I went to the tryout.
Oh, okay.
You went to the tryout?
They had the tryout at Genesis, and I showed up.
I don't understand.
The most veteran fighter in the state. He's like, I guess I'll go try out.
Well, I mean,
It was an open tryout.
I was
just trying to get a look.
Like I was saying, I kept sending. God, I forget his name. Hopefully, it'll come to me. But I was sending the promoter of BKFC messages
Daniel?
because I'd have to look it up real quick. But I went to the BKFC card they did in Denver last year.
Yeah, we were there too.
And I saw
you.
and I saw Golden Boy fight, and he didn't look that good. You know, like I'm like, there's like no way he could beat me.
Have you ever looked at someone you wanted to fight at their fight and thought, wow, they're good? No, I don't think. Come on, man.
Well, for sure. I mean, I used to try to take on the toughest guys out there, but like when I watched Golden Boy fight, he like had so many defensive flaws. He leads with his right hand. He leaves his chin up. He drives in with his chin up, and I'm just like, I could check hook this guy so easy. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I had the game plan for him ready, and I kept sending Nate Shook messages like, I want to fight Golden Boy, and he didn't really take me seriously. I'm just some guy on Facebook. And then I went to the tryouts, and he was there. And then I killed it at the tryouts. I thought I was the best guy there, honestly. Like,
You probably were.
but
No offense. I just seen some of the guys they put through. I was like,
well, they picked me. Like, they picked 5 guys.
And early, huh?
Yeah. Well, actually, they picked guys.
Did they
3
sweat
guys
you?
before me, and I was just like standing right at the cage, waiting to go in, looking at Chris Lytle, like I know you didn't. I didn't get cut.
You did not walk over me.
But yeah, I made the roster through the tryout. I was one of the 5 picked, and then I went to Nate Shook, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm the guy who's sending you messages
Yates,
on
give me
Facebook.
Yates."
I still want to fight Yates," and he's just like. And Yates is I don't want to disrespect the guy. I actually really like him, and I think he's got a lot of heart because I dropped him 5 times, and he kept coming. But he's a can crusher. He was 2-0, but he beat Nate McLaughlin, who's a freaking joke. I can't stand that guy. And I don't know who the other guy he fought, but I saw that fight. I was there live, and I'm watching it. I'm just like looking at Yates lead with his chin up, and I'm just like, I'll kill this guy. He couldn't beat me if I was asleep. So I was old and washed up, and I knew I could just do. I knew I was built for bare knuckle.
Yeah.
You know, like I hit hard. I got a chin. I think I'm a pretty good boxer.
You fought bare knuckle style basically your whole career.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's crazy that he took the fight. It's good for you to get the fight, but it's crazy
Yates?
he took the fight
Well-
bare knuckle and not MMA.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd much
I
rather
think
get
he was
hit by
scared of
Josh
my
in
ground
gloves.
game. You know,
Really?
Well, I have like 12 career submissions.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just looked at my record and saw the submissions. He's like, this guy's a jiu-jitsu guy, but I don't know.
I'll tell you, I would be if like the universe lined things up and they were like, hey, I got a fight for you. It's Josh Huber. Yeah, your ground game, I would be worried, but I've watched you.
But you can. It doesn't hurt because you can tap.
Yeah, I can tap there. I can get out of the cage on the ground at no problem.
I mean, I honestly don't know the reason, but he would never fight me. He had multiple chances to do it, and then, like I said, he had some clout. He was 2-0. He had that 14-second knockout of McLaughlin. You know, that guy's not a legit fighter, and I'm just like, okay, so he's got a 2-0 record against 2 bums. Like, he was not better than me. And I was like an underdog for that fight. And Nate was just like, yeah, we'll feed you to Golden Boy. And I'm just like,
we'll
cool.
give it up.
I won
Perfect.
some money
Yes.
on that one.
I'm not saying I won money either,
I was like,
but I did well.
All right, hey.
But yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
I think he was just the perfect matchup for me, honestly. But no, he's a lion, man. I dropped him hard. I was hitting him with some really hard shots, and he just kept getting up. And that was the first time in my career where I was like talking shit to the ref, like, hey, this guy's done. What the hell
What
do
do
I?
you do? Yeah.
What do I need to do? Like I was
What more
literally.
do you want from me?
I was talking shit to the ref, like stop the fight. Like what the hell do I got to do? You know. But yeah, he kept getting up and he fought like a champion. He's a real nice guy, but I just think I'm a much better fighter. You know.
Well, I
What
mean,
do you think is now that because you've done both and you've fought really tough guys at you know, in the MMA, as far as like adrenaline rush, what would you say is better, the BKFC or the MMA or
Well, I mean, probably like bare knuckle was really nerve wracking. It was my debut, and I didn't know if my hands were going to hold up, you know. And I didn't think I was going to get knocked out, but I'm also a bleeder, so I'm just
Yeah.
like I don't know how I'm going to take these shots. I really didn't, you know.
you
So
and I both
was
have that weak
nervous.
skin around the eyebrows.
Oh, dude, I got over 120 stitches in my eyebrow area. Like, but Yates didn't hit that hard, and I knew he didn't, so that's why I picked that fight. You know, I called
Even
that
if you
fight.
had to eat a couple to figure it
Yeah.
out. you'd be
Well,
all
once
right.
I felt his power, I was just like, it's over.
it's
you
yeah.
can do this. Yeah. So going into it, obviously, there's not a real big amateur bare knuckle world.
Well, they fight with them little flaps. They're like bag gloves. There's amateur bare knuckle. They had some on that on the fight card. On the fight card I fought on because I fought on the Prospect series.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Which is a way smaller
Yeah,
circle
Production.
ring.
Yeah.
they had like one or
Where they
two.
put you in they put you in like this room right here.
Well, no, it was actually pretty cool. I liked the venue. It wasn't huge.
No.
but,
I mean the circle.
oh,
fight,
it
the
is
ring
tiny.
was like,
It was so tiny. I couldn't believe it. You know,
this,
and
this feels big.
I wasn't worried about it myself. You know, but no, I was pretty in awe of like how small it was. You've got nowhere to run in there.
Yeah.
No.
Mike and I have talked about it a lot. I always appreciate fighting in a small cage or in a small ring because I'm not mobile, and I need to get a hold of. I mean, just too much room.
I'm always coming forward.
Yeah,
so,
I'm like put us in a phone booth and it's a lot easier. But they're getting, I mean, some of their rings are.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost touch gloves while in your corner.
yeah, and they start you right in front.
Yeah, they're like, come on, like
That's
a
insane.
What'd you
like
think
a
of
high
that?
school a collegiate
That blew my
wrestling
mind.
star.
That blew my mind because I'm just like, wow. Like, and Coach Jake Ramos, he was telling us like, start getting a flow before the even round goes. Do not sit there stagnant and wait for the round to go because you're going to get stuck.
Right.
You know, like, do you see that guy that got knocked down in like 2 seconds?
Just recently.
Exactly. He just like he was standing there waiting. It's like, no, you got to
He
start
said,
getting some
"Bye."
rhythm.
Like I said, pop.
It's insane, man. Like,
If you're not going to move forward, move backwards. Off the
Something-
line. Don't
something,
just stand
don't-
there.
yeah,
Don't
I'm like,
stand on the line.
I was
Hit me.
on my back foot big time. I'm just like, all right, is he gonna come get it, or am I gonna come get it, or go get him?
So, hand wise,
I broke my ring finger right here,
yeah.
but that's it.
First
My
punch or
knuckles-
just throughout
Early?
the
I didn't even notice.
No?
I noticed it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, it's not even broken. It just hurts a little bit.
And then
but
broken.
it turned out to be broken, but no big deal.
So that would probably be one of my biggest concerns because I busted them all up real bad, and there's just nothing there.
No, I mean, I have a vivid memory of when I hit him when I dropped him the first time. I hit him with this right hook, and like I felt like I hit nothing. Like I didn't think it was a huge downgrade from MMA gloves. I mean, MMA gloves are small anyway. I broke my hand in an MMA fight. I felt fine in the bare knuckle, you know. When
I
I
broke
hit,
a lot of things in MMA fights.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, small things. I was lucky not to get injured very often, but no, I was surprised by how my knuckles held up. It didn't hurt that bad at all, and I wasn't worried about it at all in the fight. You know, I was just kind of keeping my hands warm, but
Right.
at no point was like thinking about the pain in my hands.
That to me is, I mean, I know I'm gonna bleed. I mean, if you hit me, I'm gonna bleed. So I'm not worried about my face.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, if you just catch one of those, like that first combination, you see it done to fighters all the time, or it happened to fighters, like the first combination they throw in bare knuckle, they break a hand, and then no one talks about it on the telecast, and it's kind of no one ever says, oh, his hand's definitely. But then you watch and you're like, why won't he throw the right? Why won't he throw the? And you're like, oh.
Well, another
Because
thing,
he really couldn't.
Another thing that Coach Jake was showing us is how to punch proper. You know, in MMA, you kind of snap it off and you hit with the front two knuckles, but in bare knuckle, it's better to hit flat. You know, so he was telling us how to hold our hands. Shots. Yeah, just because you have more surface and you're less likely to break your hands. But you know, he taught us about curling it a little bit when you hit, not just leaving it flat, because that's how you take more impact into the wrist and top of the hand. But no, honestly, I was surprised because I was worried about breaking my hands because I have had a hand break. But no problem at all.
That to me has always been. I'm like, oof. Like I have big hands for my size.
Yeah.
But I also know that, like shit.
I'll tell you what, when we went,
break and
it was
done.
A great time.
Yeah,
like, I liked watching.
Yeah, we sat next to each other.
Yeah, it was
like
it was fun to watch. I wasn't sure what to expect.
On accident, we sat next to each other, which is weird. Like we both showed up. And I was like, hey, that's weird. I think bare knuckle live, hands down,
for sure.
Over
for
TV.
Sure.
I love the pacing of it. You know, it's
fast. They get their
MMA can be 3 or 4 hours long, and it's just like by the end you're just like checked out, man. Like
I don't know how many main events I've fallen asleep on my couch.
Yeah, exactly.
And missed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the East Coasters. You know, when the main event's coming on at 1 or 2 in the morning or whatever.
We just moved back from Florida in November.
Yeah,
that's tough.
And your main event is well after midnight.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm old, dude.
Yeah, I'm in bed by like
9:30. 9:30. I'm like, this is it. We got to go.
When we went to New York to watch a UFC,
yeah,
main card don't start till 10. It's like, all right, you ready? I'm like,
no,
it's 10. All right, yeah, I guess.
Wow, you went to that show?
You have to change your whole.
Yeah,
it's. I mean,
think about the UK fighters as well that have to change their whole regiment.
They have to change their whole clock.
Didn't they do a card recently where they did a bunch of UK fighters on American time, like in the UK?
Yeah, that was a big. They did actually like there was some people were causing like.
Can you imagine? Like
that's kind of cheap.
How does that'll just totally mess up your training schedule. I mean,
well,
that's not fair at all.
If we make the UK guys or the European guys come and fight on our time when they come here, inversely, you should have to fight on their time.
Well, they did it for dollars, but
yeah.
Still,
revenue's better.
That's
when
just
it's
not
at
fair to the fighters.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's tough, and it's the same thing when they go to Dubai. It's a whole different. But
trust me,
I don't know.
Yeah. When Chepe fought in Sydney.
Yeah,
we're hey, shakeout 6 a.m. It's like
what
we're done fighting by I think it was 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know that I would never. My body would never be ready to wake up for an actual fight at 10.
I'll tell you what, though, I have fought in the daytime before, and I loved being done by like 1 or 2, because I used to get really nervous, and then you'd spend the whole day just a wreck.
Oh, with adrenaline dump.
And like you could just wake up, eat breakfast, like warm up and fight. Like that was awesome. Like that was the most awesome thing to me ever. But
I hated Saturday morning sparring because my body's just I need 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just the nerves thing. Get the thing over with, and then you have a much more pleasant day.
Right. If you're going to get executed in the morning.
Be done.
Don't wait all day. That's
for sure.
terrible.
That's a good point. Great analogy.
So now we have to come to you get signed by Bare Knuckle. You have your very first fight, and it's phenomenal. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying, "Oh no, there's a new guy in town. Watch out."
Yeah.
And then,
it actually started. The whole medical thing started before the bare knuckle fight.
But you weren't going to get checked before
Well,
the fight.
what happened was I went to that tryout, and then I made the roster, and then that was on a Sunday, I think. So me and my girlfriend decided to celebrate it the next weekend. So we had, we went out, we had a good time. Nothing was wrong. I got home, was kind of hungover. We slept for like 2 or 3 hours or some crap. And then I got up in the morning, I was taking a shower, and then I just collapsed. I had a seizure. I don't remember it at all, honestly. Like I just woke up, and the paramedics, there was like 10 paramedics in our tiny apartment, so and I'm just like asking what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And my girlfriend's telling me, and I'm just like, no way.
You're like, I don't.
No freaking way. Because I felt fine. You know, it's not like I was in pain or I was groggy. But yeah, they took me to the hospital. I refused medical treatment.
You're like, no.
Like, and then I was just like, it was a one-time thing because we partied that night. You know,
You're like, oh, it's just a
yeah. I just thought it was just like
glitch in the matrix.
yeah, for sure. So I like didn't really think about it, you know. But then it happened like again, probably a month and a half later, and then a month after that. But like by this time, I was already signed for that fight against Golden Boy. So I was just like,
not gonna.
well, the thing is the first 3 I had, I don't remember them at all. Like I know they happened,
Right.
you know, but I have no recollection of them. And I was having full grand mal seizures. I like cracked my head open. I chipped my teeth. Like they were. It
They
wasn't
were serious.
They were very serious. But like when I would wake up, I would be groggy for like an hour, and then I'd be fine. I would literally just go out throughout my day because there was nothing holding me back. You know, like it was weird. So it's like I didn't remember them happening. They didn't affect me that much. I had seizures on days I went and trained my ass off. You know, and it didn't affect my training. I'm just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I was reaching. I really wanted that fight. You know, that was my the third time I came out of retirement, and it was only because of Yates. You know, like obviously I wanted to go out on a win. I was on a 3-fight losing streak, and I was getting crushed by guys that shouldn't be beating me. But I just knew I could beat Yates, so I really wanted that fight. So I refused to pull out. I talked to Doc Alex. He's like, you need to get a freaking MRI right away. Now, this is very serious. So I did. I got an MRI
After the fight.
a week after the fight.
Right.
And I had an MRI at like 5 a.m. And they look at it. It's without contrast. There's with and without contrast. They pump contrast into you to get a better look. So they did it without contrast because they weren't taking it that serious. So we're on our way home from the doctors, and they call us, you need to come back right away. And I'm just like, well, maybe they got a bad picture. Maybe I moved too much in the thing, you know?
Yeah.
And me and my girlfriend were kind of assuming this was going to be brain damage, you know, or
CTE.
yeah, CTE,
Okay, just from
Alzheimer's,
fighting?
whatever. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's what we assumed
Spots.
it was going to be.
Lesions.
But yeah, I'm really drawing this story out. But yeah, they told us to come right back, and then they did it with contrast, and then they sent us the images that day, and it's just like, holy crap! I had like this little baby fist inside my head. It was right over the right side of my skull. It was like it was a cancerous tumor, but it had a sac that was attached to it. So when you looked at it from the top, it looked massive, like incredibly massive. Like, how am I alive with this thing? But that was really just the sac that was filled with fluid. It would fill up with fluid and then deflate and fill up. And it actually caused me to have migraines my whole life. I just never knew it. I've been dealing with migraines
Pressure,
my whole life.
yeah.
And a lot of people were like, oh, you must have brain damage. You need to stop fighting. I'm like, I've been having migraines since I was a kid. Like, I don't think I
didn't
had brain
fight when I
damage
was
back
7.
then, you know? So, like, I just dealt with them.
Right.
I would take, like, Excedrin all the damn time, you know? But then I found out later, and especially after they removed it, I don't even have those migraines anymore at all. So, like, it stopped that problem. It was putting pressure onto my brain. They told me I'd had it my whole life. It was just growing, and I didn't know about it. And then it finally got big enough to where it was pushing on something, and it short-circuited my brain. So they saw how serious it was, and they got me
What size? How, like,
in.
in the grand scheme of balls?
I think it's like it was 3 inches or something.
So bigger than a golf ball.
Oh yeah,
Dang.
it looked like a baby fist
In your brain.
on top of my skull. Like, what the way I'm so lucky and blessed is that it was right on the surface. You ever seen the movie Phenomenon with
Will Smith?
No, Mike Travolta. Well, he had the same thing in that movie, and he dies from it anyway. It's like
Anyway, that's not.
it's like
He was weak.
they explain it in the movie, like, because I just watched that movie the other day, and they're explaining it, and they had their facts like really well
Oh, they
written
knew.
out for that. Because I'm just like, holy shit, this guy had the same thing that I had. It's like a astrocytoma, which it means it has like tentacles.
So it can grow into.
Yeah, it's like literally has tentacles that are spreading out. Most people die from them because they're embedded in their brain and they have to dig in to get it out. Mine was right on the surface. And they did have to dig in deeper than they wanted, so they were worried about my motor skills. But I never had any setbacks at all. I was doing everything just fine from the, like I literally woke up out of surgery and passed all my physical things for the next, they checked me every like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I did just fine. I was actually walking around on my feet like 12 hours later. It's incredible what they're doing with surgery. But again, it was just because it was right on the surface and they didn't have to dig in too much.
But they also had to open up your skull.
Oh, yeah. They removed my forehead. I have 3 plates. I'll just show you guys. Yeah, if you can see here, they cut me.
Yeah.
Cut me from ear to ear.
Laid your skin open.
They've pretty much scalped me.
Yeah.
And then they removed my forehead. And they had to, open brain surgery. So they took it out. It was like a 6 or 7 hour surgery. They went in a little deeper than they had planned, but there was no real complications. I feel very lucky to how things worked out. You know, I feel blessed.
Yeah. They opened your fucking skull up. An ice cream scoop to fucking tumor bigger than a golf ball.
I have 3 plates, 2 on my temple and 1 on the center. So when they first did it, there was lines like where you put the forehead back in.
Yeah.
So there was gaps between my brain and the outside of my skull. So like the brain fluid, if I leaned forward, the brain fluid would flow out of my skull into my outer skull and then fill up. I went to, after they sent me home, I went to smoke a bowl and I like blew it out and like my head inflated. Just like,
oh God,
because my brain fluid was literally shooting out from my brain into the outer skull. And it was like incredibly jarring. Like sneezing was excruciating. Coughing sucked. It was bad for a couple days.
Couple days.
They sent me home. I was in on Wednesday, August 7th, and I was out on Friday morning, August 9th. So I was.
You were home
from brain surgery? Mm-hmm. From brain surgery.
Yeah.
They took his skull
Here,
off.
go home. So how long?
I would have told him that no.
Well,
I'm staying.
My surgeon, I was scared as hell before I talked to my surgeon.
Yeah.
My surgeon was incredible. Zane, I can't remember his damn name. My memory's so bad now. But my girlfriend had looked him up and told me that he had a tumor removed when he was a kid. And then he went on to be a brain surgeon. So I'm like, holy crap, this guy actually knows what he's talking about, you know? And I thought I was going to die before I talked to him. Like, and then he just put my mind at ease. He's like, we could send you home the next day. And they could have, but I was just like in way too much pain and my girlfriend had to deal with me. So it would have been bad for her.
Yeah.
Because I was
I'm telling you, I would have been a week minimum.
At least.
I would have told him, I don't care.
How long?
I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be in the hospital.
Yeah, but
it sucked.
I'm a baby.
Yeah. And how long after when you got the MRI, from then, how long till the surgery? Did they
Like
get you
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So
it was
pretty
quick. I mean, it was serious, you know, like, I mean, the craziest thing about this whole thing is I was never sick from it. The only thing that happened
Seizures.
was
That's
the
crazy.
migraines. I had migraines my whole life, and then the seizures started happening. Like, I had my first seizure in, it was 2 months before the fight, I think, or like 3 months before the fight. So I think it was in like March, you know, and then I ended up having 7 of them before the MRI. And they put me on Keppra. I'm on Keppra now, which is horrible. I mean, it's not the worst drug ever. It makes me very emotional. It makes me more pissed off than I already am.
Like
so
you don't need
it's not great for everyone around me, you know. But Keppra really keeps me from having seizures, and I'm going to be on it for the rest of my life because I have a scar there now, and like a little bit of extra space. So that just puts me at risk of having more seizures, and I don't know what would happen if I even had one. Neither do the doctors. It's all speculative.
Right.
But I'm on Keppra. I'm on like a bunch of different antibiotics and
Pull up to that mic just a little bit.
B vitamins and such. Today, actually, right after this, I'm going to my oncologist, and they're going to put me on a program for chemo medication for the next 8 to 12 months. You know, we'll see how it goes. Or
Precautionary.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm cancer free. I just had the MRI 3 weeks ago, and there's no cancer, no signs of cancer. But the chemo will keep it from growing back because what I did have almost always grows back.
Is that because of the tentacles?
No, I don't.
Because
I
are there
mean,
parts that get left behind when it's like that?
well, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even fully understand it myself, but I had 2 types of cancer in this tumor. One of them was super rare, and I don't know what it's called. The astrocytoma is just the name of the tumor. The astrocytoma is just a type of tumor.
Right.
But the cancer I had, I don't even know the name of, but it comes back all the time. So they treat it aggressively. I had a grade 3 out of 4. So they're going to treat it like it was a grade 4. The grade is talking about how much it'll spread. You know, so if it's grade 4, that means it's super aggressive. It's going to spread and freaking come back and cause all kinds of problems. But they're treating mine as a grade 4. It was like a grade 3. You know, my life expectancy, it just depends on who you ask. I've never heard from the doctors once terminal. They've never used that term. They'll say stuff like 3 to 5 years is like the average, but that's also for old, sick people. You know, like people like me rarely get at this stage get it. I'm young and healthy and strong. Yeah. So I don't trust any of those
health
averages.
Issues involved in those people who also die.
But they're going to treat it aggressively for the next 8 months to a year, and hopefully it won't come back, because after that I refuse to take chemo anymore. I don't want to take it now, but if I don't have a whole lot of options. I have a bunch of people telling me this will work, that'll work. I got like 10 people a day sending me like propaganda, you know, so the only word that I can actually trust is my doctor. So I'm listening to my doctors, and I'm going to get on chemo at least for now until I get a better option.
Well, everybody is an astrophysicist.
Oh yeah, they seen it on
nowadays,
YouTube.
Nowadays,
I get people sending me Instagram stories from like just junk posters, you know, and I'm just like, what the hell is your problem? Like, fuck off.
Are you really this dumb?
Yeah, I mean, it
But you just hope
me.
those people take that medical advice so that Darwin handles shit.
Well, I just, you know, everyone's trying to help, you know, and I'm not trying to be like mad at them or anything, but I just have some people I don't even know trying to give me advice, you know, and I'm just like, this isn't really impactful, you know.
Show me your educational background.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me, you know, all the
They're
studies you've done.
Instagram posts acting like they know what they're talking about. Like, I saw this on Instagram, and my freaking mom died of cancer, so I'm an expert or some shit.
That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Don't listen to them.
I'll send you something.
It'll work. It'll work.
I am fully ready to talk to an expert about alternative treatments, but no, they haven't. The doctors haven't given me that option. They're not presenting me with that. You know, like I do get the sense sometime that I am a customer. You know, like my first oncologist.
We all are.
Well, my first oncologist was just like a prick. You know, he like didn't introduce himself. He left the room for like 20 minutes the first time, then like 30 minutes the second time to get caught up on my case. So he didn't do any research before I came in. He like said that he left to talk to my surgeon. He left for like 30 minutes, and he said he just talked to my surgeon on the phone. I'm like, yeah, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he like, before he left the room, he says, we don't usually do radiation and chemo at the same time. Radiation is when they radiate your brain so it won't grow back because it's too hard on the body. You know, and he literally told me, we don't do it because there's no proof that it actually helps. Doing them both together is more effective than doing them separate. So he's like, we don't normally do that. Then he left the room, and then he said he talked to my surgeon. He's like, yeah, we're going to do both because you're young and strong. And
Remember
you can
what
take
I told you? Forget that.
Yeah, literally, like he just like contradicted himself, and he's just like, well, you're young and strong and you could take it. So the first time I was on chemo was with the radiation, and it was towards the end, it was just brutal. I wanted to work out. I had the will, but anytime I'd get started, I would just be toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only
But now they're putting me.
I think I'm fat now.
Well, now it's just chemo. So what the plan is so far, what they told me is I'm going to be on chemo 5 days out of every 30. So it's going to be 5 days of heavier dosages of chemo.
Oral.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you don't got to go nowhere.
I take it at night right before bed.
Oh, okay.
You know, I try not
Right.
to eat late because it'll make me puke. I never puked once on the chemo. Like my girlfriend's done great about taking care of me and making sure I'm doing everything right. But drink lots of water. Don't eat before you take it. You know, you take a nausea pill before you take
Right.
it, and then they give you more to take as you need it. But I never even needed them. I would just take it at night, and then I'd wake up in the morning not feeling great, but like most of the sickness part, I would sleep
Slept
through.
it through. Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But
That's smart.
They're gonna put me on like 5 days straight of heavier dosage than I was on. So I'm gonna be wrecked, I assume, and then I'm gonna recover for 3 weeks, then go
And
back
right
on it.
about when you start to
So
feel
I'm going to be riding this
Yeah.
wave. I keep telling people, like, come train with me before I get on this.
Hurry
Because I'm
up.
not going to be on this for a
Right.
while. And everyone just keeps blowing me off. And I'm just like, you bastards. Like, you're ducking
in
me.
here.
You're
Let's
running from
go.
this ass whooping. Like, but yeah, man, like, I'm probably not going to be training for the next year because my body's going to be spending so much time healing itself. And also I'm going to get weak. And if I try to be explosive, I'm just going to blow something out and make it worse. So I'm just going to have to accept it, get weak, and then try to regrow my strength after a year or whatever. But, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to get it back fully. You know, like honestly, right before this, I was at my peak. Like I was doing so much jujitsu and I was so damn strong and I was giving it to guys that usually beat the crap out of me. And, then like I tried to roll after the first treatment and I just like felt so much weaker. Like it just sucks, man.
Stole it from you.
Well, it is what it is. I'm lucky to be alive. I can't
That's
complain.
that's the
Yeah.
other side of the coin. Now, you've gone through surgery. Obviously, you took the time to heal. Your skull is back together.
Yeah, I can't fight anymore. People keep asking me if when my next fight is
Well,
or if I'm
because
going to fight again. I'm just
you're
like,
he's the guy that
That's
says,
the
"Yeah,
problem.
I'm gonna fight."
That's the problem. You would like.
oh yeah, for
You'd
sure.
be like, yeah, man.
Well, I've had a couple people test me, you know, since then, like, I'm not going to do anything. And I've gotten nose to nose with a couple people,
Yeah.
like, make my day.
Yeah.
Like, just like, see if I won't do it. Like, do
Right.
I look fucking scared?
But you're in the gym
Yeah.
right now. Like,
Now, is it
like
your
going
gym
at-
or do you coach at a
So
gym?
I literally just finished, I'm rejoining the compound. I've always been a member of compound. I've been there for 12 years. I got my black belt there. I left to join Factory X and just like do more
For the
MMA
fight
based
part,
training, but
right.
compound's always been my jiu-jitsu home. They had a general manager before that wasn't doing much. So, he got let go, and then I was teaching over at Denver Modern for free. And I got an opportunity to come back to Compound in Centennial and take over the GM position. And then we had enough space. I was looking at it. I'm like, we don't even use this lobby. Let's turn it into a training room. So we just finished construction on Sunday. We now have a kickboxing training room that I'm going to be running. I'm the head coach. I'm going to be starting my own fight team, kickboxing, and then we have the jiu-jitsu program completely separate in a completely separate training room that's already very strong. So I think it's going to be a very good
Yeah, the
program.
compound's deep.
Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of black belts. And I'm just going to try to bring back the competition team and like really just try to up the ante for everybody. And I want to start my own fight team. I want to leave something, a legacy, you know?
Yeah.
And we're
get
going to be
some people out
small,
there.
but I already have 2, 3 like really talented young students that are dedicated. And, you know, all I got to do is take them out and let them win some fights and everything will take care of itself.
Sure. And that's it. When a person of your stature in the MMA community starts to build a team, you take a couple guys out, you show them, you know, that you're really about it, that you're doing it the right way. Then
Oh, yeah.
it just starts. People just start flooding.
I mean, I don't want to talk bad about it. I just went to the fights on Saturday in the Springs, and I've just been watching
That
a lot of
Battle
this.
Mountain?
Yeah, and I've been watching a lot of the Sparta cards, and you look at the undercard, and these guys are not nearly as skilled as they used to be.
You know, and I was talking to somebody about it at the gym. They were asking me, "Are you gonna go to fights?" I was like, "Man, I don't mind paying. I don't care to pay. Like I will pay to support
Right.
what we've got going on here, but I can't justify paying $60, $70 to watch what they're putting out there.
It's smoker level. a
You know
lot
what I
of them.
mean? Like it's tough.
They're
And
letting people that fight that shouldn't be fighting fight, and I think
There was a guy on that Battle Mountain card.
Oh man,
that shouldn't have been allowed to fight in the last 10 years.
Oh, he's like 1 in 16 if we're talking about the same guy.
Same guy.
He didn't
1 in 16.
it wasn't a fixed
I
fight.
fought him.
It wasn't a fixed fight, but like he literally did not
that
try
bad.
to win at all. He threw one really bad punch and then he like grabbed Miguel's arm and like dragged him on top of him, just like trying not to get hit. And then I hate to say it, but I thought the ref should have let him get beat up a little bit. He's getting paid for it, you know. At least let him take a beating if he's going to quit.
If you're going to quit. B, if you're going to show up, obviously nowhere near in shape.
I heard they had to pay him extra because he was going to pull out because he was so scared. And Miguel's a scary guy. I used to train Miguel. He's a really good fighter. But the guy didn't try to win. It was like a disgrace to fighting, man. I've been
How
trying
did he
to.
become a pro?
Yeah, that's the thing. That guy gets to.
How do you get a pro card?
He gets to tell people he's a pro fighter.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell them their record, but
Yeah.
Man, that's
you know who we're talking about?
I probably.
I can't remember his name, but it was.
I
bad.
fought him, so you know.
Oh, and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like.
early. Like I didn't even.
I mean, I can't talk crap because I fought a jobber on my first fight too. Like that's the name of the game. But this guy was just like, man, he didn't even try, and he got beat in 29 seconds. And like to me, I hate seeing that because I'm a real fighter. I'm a
If your hair gel didn't even get messed up,
yeah.
Well,
you shouldn't get paid.
He literally laid down and covered up, like, please save me. And the ref let him off easy. I'm like, let him get his ass kicked for a little bit.
Miguel should have pulled off of him.
Well,
Made him stand up.
I thought it was funny. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, he just started doing the gravedigger celebration. I'm just like, oh man, like you just beat. It's like beating up a child and like celebrating, you know.
Well, I think too many coaches are too eager to be part of the show. That like, let's get a fighter. Let's get a fighter.
I don't think he has a coach.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and I don't think he has a coach. He doesn't have a team. I don't think he trained.
It looked like his buddies were in his corner.
Where did he train?
I don't.
No, I've clashed with people about this before because I believe that
I cornered him also once because he showed up with nobody or nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does that guy get paid? Like, give him like $100 and like a stay at freaking Holiday
Yeah,
Inn.
you could, well, Super 8.
But no, I mean,
But it's like coming up. Colorado MMA fighters aren't as scary as they used to be.
But they're also
not. They're not.
But also that they're just the up and comers. But there's also that layer of Colorado fighters that are top of the top. No one can mess with them.
there's guys that there's like the prospects, and I've noticed this, and I had a big problem with it a couple times when I was coaching. Is like guys just like try to build the whole team around one guy. And then like they're treating everyone else like they're a punching bag, and it's just like this is not a winning
You're
culture.
here to be food.
You know, exactly. Like these guys are never going to get better. They're just going to come through, wash out, and then some other guy's going to come in, get the crap kicked out of him by this guy, and then like wash out. Like I think fighters need to be built on fundamentals. You know, fundamentals and cardio. I'm sick of seeing these fat freaking fighters, man. If you got tits on you, you shouldn't be
You're
fighting.
2 weight classes
You
up.
know,
right now.
like if your freaking bare minimum job is to show up in shape.
Right.
You know, you don't even have to be athletic. At least show up in shape and like with some sort of training. But these guys are just like, yeah, I lost 150 pounds, so I'm an athlete now, you know, and like I'm gonna go out there and just get smoked.
Yeah.
It's just like
I
feeder
refuse
fights.
to corner a lot of people.
I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
won't do it no more.
No, I told him, I'm like, I've had a couple fighters just like hit me up like, hey, would you train me for this fight that I have in 3 weeks? And I'm like, no. Like, are you freaking crazy? Where are you training at? Exactly. You know, and
Your
like,
garage doesn't count. I need an address.
yeah. And it's like these same guys are posting videos every day, like about how good they are. And like, it's just like, dude,
You're not.
the waters have just been, it's so watered down. You know, the waters have been muddied. Like,
Well, there's no amateur careers anymore.
Well, and because you win 2 or 3 fights, 4 fights, you go to the big show right away.
You get 2 or 3 amateur wins, and then every local promotion around here is like, oh, we went off you a pro fight. 500 and 500, come on down.
yeah, I mean,
You too can make no money.
well, I tell my guys, like, you guys, by the time you're ready to fight, you're going to be built on strong fundamentals and a lot of cardio, and that is going to carry you all the way. That alone will carry you
You
through
can
the
beat
amateur
so many
ranks.
people just
You
by
know?
being in shape.
Yeah, exactly. So I train them tough, and I train them on fundamentals, and I would never let
a blue belt who can keep his chin down and throw a jab
Well,
in shape will beat 90% of the amateurs.
Did you see that flying mount? Did you see that? I was there with my brother, and he called it flying mount. I didn't even come up with that. This guy hit flying mount. He went from standing to mount position without doing a takedown. Like the guy kind of bent backwards and he jumped on top.
Sounds
of
like
him.
WWE.
And it was like it actually happened. I'm just like, this is the worst fight I've ever seen.
What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, like you can't sell that to me as a good fight. It's a couple of bums just like doing really weird moves on each other, and like almost all those fights went to a decision, and it was hard to watch, man.
I mean, even so far back as to, let's say, like 2012, 2013, 2014, Colorado, like amateur fighters had to fight their way into shows.
Yeah.
In like 2018, as it moved on, it was,
well,
if you have a pulse,
oh, exactly.
we'll get you a fight.
Exactly.
You don't have a gym, don't worry about it.
It's just like anything right now on social media. It became, it's cool. It's cool to call yourself a fighter.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But are you really a fighter?
Are you?
What is that? What does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I think
you
we're
backed
all
out of
missing.
9?
I miss Ring of Fire. I miss Sven Beam. Like he was the
Ring
OG.
of Fire was the pinnacle of regional.
You had to work your way up to that.
If you got on a Ring of Fire card
Mm-hmm.
at the First Bank Center, oh man,
Oh, yeah.
that was.
I remember watching those old shows, and it was like, it was incredible.
Even Seth Daniels at the Fight to Win did a good job of trying to put the best fights he could together.
Yeah.
You know
would
what I mean?
actually have multiple pro fights
Yeah.
on the card, not
Yeah.
just like one on the end with a bunch of freaking amateurs, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I fought main events as an amateur.
Yeah, I fought main events as an amateur. Like, it's just like,
Like, how
what
in the hell is this happening?
Well, they just don't want to pay anybody. They're
No.
trying to build a brand, but
Yeah.
it's like you can't build a brand without good fights. If you're not putting on good fights, then who's going to want to keep coming?
And I can tell you from being on the promoter side, it's not easy, but it's also not hard to put together really good fights. The Paramount card that you fought on for us,
Yeah.
top to bottom, that was a fucking
Oh, yeah.
card.
No, Seth's
That
cards
was
were
a
awesome,
banger.
man.
That was me and Tony Sims.
Oh, yeah, Paramount.
Aaron,
That's
yeah.
right. Whatever happened with that? I mean,
It costs a lot.
yeah, I never even heard from Tony Sims again. Like,
A lot.
I was bummed because that was the fight. I broke my
You broke your
collarbone.
collarbone up kick from
Yeah.
Riley
Yeah, man.
An up
in the
kick?
first round.
He threw an axe kick from his back. I dropped him like with a right hook, and then he like threw an axe kick off his back and just shattered my collarbone. I still beat him though.
Yeah. He was so mad.
Oh, bro, he didn't think. I don't think he believed me. I think he thought I was like lying about it. I'm like, bro, you could see the thing
not
sticking
see
out right here. Like
It's almost popping out of my skin.
I remember during that fight, I'm like, man, if they see this thing bulging out, I'm screwed.
I remember the post-fight interview was like 4 seconds long. And you got to go.
Dude, I mean, it overlapped.
Yeah.
Like it was bad, you know.
I'll find it. You can hear us on me, J.R. Gordon, and Ron Goldstein. You can hear us on the commentary. And we're like,
All right, Josh, that is title belt number 9, I believe.
Yeah, my 5th pro title. I'm waiting for that call from the UFC. Where are you guys at? My phone's on. Just give me a call.
Well, if they didn't take away the warrior that you are from that fight, that was amazing. Let me ask you real quick. It looked like the right hand stopped getting pumped. You got a little injury there?
I think he broke my collarbone with one of those up kicks at the end of the first. I got a big lump in my shoulder. It was really hard to throw my left after that. One thing, I'd like to dedicate this fight to my father, Larry Huber, who's battling cancer. I love you, Dad. This one's for you.
Can't ask for anything more than that. Congratulations so much, Josh.
Was the Paramount where it was on that stage?
Yeah, no, that was at the Paramount, the old
no,
Fight
this
to Win
one,
card.
that card that he was on was at the event center.
Oh, okay.
And the one before was at Magnus.
They had that Paramount card back in the day with Seth, with all the guys in costume, like the Halloween card or whatever it was.
yeah.
I fought on that card.
Okay.
The superheroes card, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that was at the
Yeah.
Paramount
That's
Theater.
where Cavan got his name. That's like that whole...
Paramount Theater, that was the weirdest venue ever because the cage was right between the walls. So there was no space
It was
in
on
between.
stage.
Yeah.
It was on the stage at the Paramount Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no seats around it because it was
It was
Oh,
weird,
that's
man.
when it was on the floor too, and,
And
the
then the
corners were just.
walkout was
you could
like
see-
from here to there.
Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. You're in.
Yeah.
So funny story about that fight card is my opponent. I can't even remember. Anyway, he took like 5 minutes to walk out. You remember the walkout was right from the door to the cage.
Right.
He played the Miley Cyrus song and he let the whole damn song play
Before he
walked
stepped
out. The commission was going back like, you got to go to the cage.
on, let's
And
go.
I'm pacing back and forth, getting so pissed off. Like, I'm going to kill this fool. He let the whole thing play. And then he came into the ring and he T-bowed when that was a thing. Oh. And then he started like giving me this weird look. And I'm just like, I was so pissed off. I beat the hell out of that guy. Josiah
good
Callis.
For good reason.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those are good.
That
see
was-
that?
that-
But you
that
can't talk
era
about
was
any.
awesome.
Well, you can't talk about shows like that anymore.
No, it's not happening.
You know what I mean? And you
That
can't.
was most of those shows were in my MMA media career before I even started training. So I was always cage side, just
Yeah.
right there, listening to all of the shit.
I just think, but yeah, going back to Ring of Fire, I just think we're lacking like that stable, high level promotion.
Yeah.
Like that's consistently
I mean, you have
putting on
LFA.
shows. They're very like what, once or twice a year,
But
maybe.
yeah, they come here like twice, and one of them is usually in Vail, which is a very tough situation to get anyone to. I mean, it's 2 days out of your life to go see a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LFA obviously they were kind of the product of Ring of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, they were coming here pretty consistent, and that was the path. Local, LFA, UFC. I mean, it was just that everyone knew that was the highway. And then it's kind of changed, but LFA still has that. I mean, they still have the, that direct access to get people moving.
Yeah, I just like Sparta puts on a lot of cards, but it's just they're not always the greatest quality. Like going to a Sparta card doesn't guarantee you're going to see some good fights. And
I'd rather wait between a few months to see a good card than have one every.
Yeah, I don't need to see.
I mean, I don't even know how many they do anymore, but
I don't need to see an event every 2 weeks.
I just also putting like 20 fights on a card. That's just
ridiculous.
like, I mean, you're checked out. Like
There's a
I was at
cage
that.
and a ring, and there's a circus over there, and three
Well,
monkeys.
By the main event, the whole thing was cleared out because it's mostly fighters' families coming to these fights. So by the time like the main event had happened, everyone had already seen their family fight and they took off. So there was like barely anybody there, and the main event was really like the midway card where.
That's why, as amateurs, we fought main events.
But no, I just like I
Because
look
you're
at.
going to put butts in the seats for the longest
We
amount
need
of time.
just a better, more consistent promoter out here to build fighters up because there is a lot of talent out here.
I think Eric Mitchell tries to do a good job.
Yeah.
He's the new guy on the scene, and he gets a lot of blowback, and he's kind of that redheaded stepchild, as you would.
Oh.
But I think he really does try to put together competitive cards and tries to do it right.
the last show I went to, it was evenly matched, whether the skills were good or not.
Right.
Which made
They
for
were
a good
evenly
fight. Which
good
made
or
for
evenly bad.
Yeah, which made for a
Which
good
is
fight.
fine.
Which is better than what
Yeah.
they did in the spring,
Yeah.
where it was a lot of mismatches.
Whole bunch of tomato cans just getting
Yeah, it was
pummeled.
either two bad fighters or one good fighter smoking a really bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's tough. And then when you're putting on, like Sparta puts on a lot of events with a lot of fights on each card, then you got the guys in the Springs trying to put on cards. They're drawing from Denver. And then you get someone like a Colorado Combat Club who's trying to do it right. But you don't want fighters that have fought just a month ago or fighters that have already signed a contract to fight down here. So, I mean, it's just such a tough spot.
I find it interesting that there's less promoters. We used to have Keith Smeltzer doing Rocky Mountain Bad Boys. We used to have Tapper Snap in the Springs. Like there was
Tapper Snap was a good
Kickdown.
time.
Oh, I love Tapper Snap.
that
That's
one-
where I made my debut. Like,
Hey, that was way back when it's like,
Freaking-
you want to fight? Yep, sign up. We'll get you on.
they would sign you up the day you went to weigh-ins.
That was everyone weigh in. We're going to match you up accordingly.
Exactly. That was how I made my debut right there.
It was in a bar.
But they
in a
used to have
ring.
more fights in Pueblo and like Southern Colorado, and it's just like the cards are few and far between now. And Yeah, I feel like
It's
there's
tough.
less cards and the quality's
J.R.
dropped.
Chavez, when he puts on fights down south, I like his cards
I
because he
fought
puts
for him a couple
lot.
times.
He puts a lot into it, and I appreciate that. Right now, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of fights, not as many good fighters at the local level anymore, because if you're good, you get scooped up right away and, kind of taken out of it. I remember when we were doing Paramount, you had to sign fighters to a couple of fight deal.
Yeah.
On a local level.
That's
Because if you brought someone in and they did well, they were getting poached immediately. There were promoters waiting for you to come back out, and they were trying to,
I mean, even like I think it was like last year or the year before, one of the girls I coach, we agreed to some, but never got nothing. So I'm like, whoever's gonna send paperwork, we're fighting.
Right.
But one of the promotions told the commission we're fighting for him, and then another promotion, I said no. So we haven't fight.
not how
We're
it
not
goes.
fighting. Well, as far as I know, we're not fighting anybody.
Right.
So
I don't
they're
have a
just
contract in front of
they're
me.
just like fighting
Yeah.
with each other. It's like
That was the big thing. Like when we were doing Paramount, the poaching was so, like, to get anything going, it was dirty. It was dirty, and it was
It's a
ugly.
dirty game, man. The fight
Yeah.
business, just all around.
We almost got sued day of the fight. They were trying to get an injunction.
Jeez.
Derek Brennan, that fight. If you go back and look.
Derek Brennan?
Yep.
I love
Remember him?
Derek Brennan.
Yeah,
He's a
love
good.
that dude.
I used to train with him all the time.
That fight almost didn't get to happen that day because another promotion was trying to get an injunction in court.
From like New Jersey or whatever he's from.
Yeah. No, but it was another local promoter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
it's crazy.
Tried to get an injunction to stop his fight that day.
Man.
That's how bad and how dirty.
And too many promoters hit up fighters. I think that's not good.
Hit up a coach.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely out of line. I mean, you got to hit up coaches.
But at the same time, if as a fighter, if somebody hits you up and you have a coach, you also need to know that the response is, hey, great to hear from you. My coach is blah, blah, blah. His number is blah, blah, blah. I don't handle any of that.
Yeah. Well,
Because too many fighters think that they're smarter than their coaches, smarter than, anything else going on.
I feel like these young guys think they're way better than they
Oh
actually are.
no, 100%.
They have
100%.
egos, It's like, what the hell is, like, what proof do you have that you're as good as you think you are? Like, show me on paper that you're this damn good. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
I've dealt
Don't
with,
show me on paper. Show me on video.
well, I've dealt with a lot of jujitsu guys that like act like they're tough as hell, and I'm just like, you're doing jujitsu against jujitsu. You're not even using it in a combat scenario. You're a
Right.
fake tough guy. Like, know your freaking role, man.
Just jujitsu. Yeah, I mean, there's some really good jujitsu players. There's some okay jujitsu players. There's guys that have been training long enough that they just had to rack them with a belt because there was nothing else to do with them.
Well, like,
but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you're gonna convert it and use your jujitsu as your background for being a fighter, you better show me that you can use jujitsu in a combat scenario.
And that's how jujitsu became popular.
yeah.
Like, it's totally gone to a totally different direction now. And I just like the egos of like, not just young MMA guys, but jujitsu guys. It's just like, you guys haven't tested this in like a real arena, and you have these egos that are just completely unfounded.
We need to go back to UFC 1.
I always loved style against style. When I started fighting, Chuck Liddell was like the man. And you could be a sprawl and brawler and be the best in the world.
Yeah.
Sprawl and brawl is dead.
Oh,
like,
you can't do it.
You got to be well-rounded at everything. There are no one-dimensional fighters anymore.
If there are, they're exposed immediately.
I was a pure striker when I started until I got choked out like freaking 7 or 8 times, and I decided I'm like, better to start doing jujitsu.
Let me figure this out.
I always crack up at the pure jiu-jitsu guys who've never been in a fight, street or sanctioned, and they walk around talking about how they can handle.
They talk tough to me, man.
People don't know, in public places, they're like, these people don't even know what I could do to them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What?
You're tough at the bar.
Yeah.
Like you're tough in the training
But what you
room.
don't realize is everybody trains now.
Everyone.
So you're not the toughest guy in the bar with your blue belt. I promise you, you're not.
I just think guys need to talk less and do more.
Yep. Show
you
up.
know, like freaking if you're the best amateur in the state,
Yep.
freaking don't miss weight and lose fights. You know, like you can't freaking
Show
have
up.
it both ways, you know.
Do it. Now, I'm going to tell you it's 241. you have an appointment with your oncologist.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna wrap this portion. We could probably talk for 2 hours. I guarantee we could sit here and talk forever. It's been awesome, but I cannot keep you from going to see your like that.
We want to talk to you again.
That's why I kept like checking the time, because I was going to make sure that you
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I was just enthralled.
Yeah, no, that's I just want to make sure that you were able to get out. So members, hang around for a minute. We're gonna say goodbye to Josh. Kay Miller will throughout the edited podcast. What social media handle do you use most?
At Hellboy Huber.
Instagram.
Instagram,
Instagram. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So she'll put it in there. You guys go check it out. He's probably the best granddad of them all.
Yeah.
As far as
Super
fights
OG.
go. Yeah, I mean you're so old. Your fights predate me even watching MMA.
Oh.
How's that make you feel?
Man, I mean, I'm old. I can't even remember half of them at this point. You know, like those old fights. It's like they're all blurred together.
Yeah. I remember you at weigh-ins.
That's a lot of fights, though.
At one of the PFC, the Prize Fighting Championship fights at the Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing you at weigh-ins, and I was 100% sure that you were never going to make it to the cage.
Oh yeah, I mean, making 35 almost killed me multiple times, man.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
I watched you try to get on the scale to weigh in was an act of Congress, and right after I was like, he's not going to make it.
I've told people that I've been close to death making weight, and they think I'm exaggerating. I'm like, no, man, 35.
Worst feeling in the entire world.
I'm like 170 right now, you know, and I've lost a bunch of weight, you know, like I was walking around 170, 175 while I was making 35. It was just
That's insane,
insane.
because I was walking
crazy.
like 178, 179.
I fought
and
freaking
making 45 to me was a fucking.
I fought J-Ho at 145, and I'm just like, these guys that are making 45 are just insane. So I was kind of stuck in that middle ground, but I could not keep fighting 45ers because they're like 6 foot and super athletic, and I'm just like, I'm too small. So I had to go down to 35, which damn near killed me a few times.
I never even thought about 35. Which should have been like that should have been where I lived, but 45 to me, there are many times where you fall out of the tub
Oh yeah.
and don't know exactly what happened.
Now the commission always makes fun of me because I was the worst bastard they ever had to deal with at weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Like, weigh me in, I'm about to die, I'll kill you all.
Weigh me in now. You don't understand. All right. So members, hang around. We'll do a little Q&A in a minute. Josh is going to take off. I truly appreciate you coming up and spending the
thanks
time
for having
with
me.
us.
Yep. Thanks, Josh.
I bet there were a lot of people that did not know that the brain tumor twist was coming.
No.
Yeah, I really drug out that story
That was
too.
perfect.
No,
I wanted all the lead up to happen for
It's
it.
great.
So then
Yeah.
So, go ahead and pop your headphones. I'll give you
Appreciate it, brother.
love from here.
Trevor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And Kay Miller, if you're out there, Josh is about to walk out, so make sure Vinny's not hungry. So that's a wrap on episode 12. Look at that. I didn't go on any rants.
No.
We had a good
Zero.
guest. Everything happened the right way.
Yep.
Look at this. I can just do
Look at that. You don't even got to put it up on the
I
computer.
don't even have to move it.
Or the tablet.
Look, and we can see. So, if you are watching this episode in the public forum, what you don't know is right now we're ending it because we're going to stick around and do Q&A with the members. So if you're a member of the channel, you get to watch it recorded live, and you get to stick around for some Q&A after each episode. So if you're not a member, maybe you should think about it. Look at that
Sign
link
up.
right there. But with that being said, you got nothing.
Nope.
You good?
I'm good.
You guys take it easy. We'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday. See ya.
Bye.